Hello my friends, welcome back and good to see you again. You've done the hardest part of today's lesson and that is turning up here, so all credit to you. Today we're learning the D major arpeggio and I'm going to explain to you what that means. And then once you've learned that, we're learning Oh When the Saints Go Marching In. Now, you have already played in the key of D major before because you have done the D major scale. So if you want to refresh your memory, go back to an earlier lesson. I'll put the link up here so that it is easy for you to find. And today we're going to expand on our knowledge and play the D major arpeggio. I'll play it for you first. Arpeggio is just really a short version of the D major scale, and it uses key notes of the D major scale. It uses the first note, the third note and the fifth note of the D major scale. Here is the music, so please play along with me. We're starting on an open D string with a long bow and we're going to repeat this song. So check out the repeat. We're playing it back from the beginning again, and then right at the end, after we've repeated it, we're playing a long D. Here we go. 2, 3. Well done, really good playing. Why are we playing scales and arpeggios? Perhaps you've heard that music can be written in various different keys, various different kinds of notes that give each piece their different character. At the moment we're playing in the key of D major, and I'll come to that in a second. And the key of D major uses all the notes of the D major scale and also all the notes of the D major arpeggio. And when we know that scale and arpeggio, it helps us play all the pieces that are ever written in the key of D major. And this is the reason why we're practicing the scale and arpeggio, because if we practice those scales and arpeggios, it makes all the pieces easier to play. So it is a very efficient way of learning to play in those keys, because if we play 15 pieces, we will learn to play that key. But if we play one scale and one arpeggio, we will learn it far more efficiently, you see. If you want to know more about keys and music, then check out my course Learning to Read Music Notes, and you can find it up here as well. So if you want to expand your knowledge, go on to that course and you'll find out a little bit more about it. You have already learned the scale of D major. You have today learned the arpeggio of D major. Our piece of today, When the Saints, is written in the key of D major. So let's see if you can recognize some of the notes of the arpeggio. Of course, composers can pick any note of the scale and arpeggio and put them in any order, so it's not necessarily completely the arpeggio of D major, but very, very close. Let me play you Oh When the Saints. Recognized our arpeggio was, we're using 3 of the notes and adding another note, and that third finger is called a filler note. It fills up the gap between the notes of the arpeggio, you see. So why don't you join in with me playing Oh When the Saints. I'm starting in the middle of the bow and I'm going to play up bow. I'll go very, very slowly so that you can practice it with me. And 1, D, 2, 3, and now you play a long A. That's it. The same section comes again, so I'm going to retake the bow and reset it in the middle of the bow. Up bow again. And a long bow here. And we'll do that again. Back to the middle of the bow. Reset your bow. That's it. That's very clever. Now here you play quarter notes, and I suggest you use the whole bow on those notes. The general rule in violin playing is you use as much bow as you possibly can, and in this case we play both the quarter notes here and this half note with whole bows, you see, because I'm trying to make my bows as long as I can, and that gives me a really solid sound. Let's continue now. So I'm going to be back at the middle of the bow. And now I'm holding it about in the middle so that I can carry on from the middle. Playing. There are a couple of different techniques here, some of which you've already learned, and we're putting them all together here using longer bows, starting in the middle of the bow. New today is retaking the bow. We call it retaking the bow in official violin terminology, but I mean resetting it to the middle of the bow. And we're going to add something else. Of course, when we played the arpeggio, we played the open A string. And just now we've also played the open A string when we played the song. But what I'd like you to do in violin playing, if you can possibly stay on the same string, we tend to do that. And that means playing the A with the fourth finger. I'll show you how that goes. So here I'm playing the fourth finger, can you see? My pinky. Some of you might say, oh, but I like the A string. It's much easier to play. Yes, it is. But it sounds much more in the same style if you play that A with the fourth finger. You probably know the song, so you know about the tuning of that fourth finger. So give it a go. Now back to the middle. 4 again. And use the fourth finger again. Back to the middle. Here's that fourth finger again. Great style of playing, so well done you. If you find that too challenging today, that's okay. Most of you will find this really challenging, but try it again tomorrow and the day after tomorrow and so on, and you will find the first time you try it, it's really, really tricky. The second time you try it, it gets that little bit easier, and then after that you keep on improving. So well done. Another thing that is tricky perhaps is to play faster notes at the lower half of the bow. Perhaps you noticed my bow hand fingers are really, really smooth. Now at this level of your playing, that is really tricky to do. That's okay. But what you can do to work towards that goal of flexible fingers is to try not to hold the bow so tightly. So loosen up a little bit if you can. And eventually, after a couple of months maybe, you'll find that that becomes more flexible. Don't worry if today you think, I don't even know how I can move my fingers. That's okay, just soften up your bow hand and try not to grip the bow too hard. That will come, that's something that we're working towards. Now, if you are learning in this course, you might want to consider becoming a member of Henriette's Violin Club. Of course, I have assumed that you have already subscribed to this channel so that you get notified whenever a new video in this series is released. But you might consider becoming a member of Henriette's Violin Club, and that means that you're supporting this channel. If more people support this channel, I can carry on making more videos such as this one. So if you're enjoying these lessons and you're learning, do please consider becoming a member. And at the end of this video, there's a link to another video that explains everything about the memberships. So thank you very much for watching. I very much look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Goodbye.